Hey everyone, and welcome to RUBIN'S Mind Lab, where we break down the latest research into what it really means. Ever wondered if the way you visualize things in your mind can actually make you better at a complex game like chess? Today we're diving into a fascinating study that explores just that. This research asks a really cool question: do stronger chess players actually see things more vividly in their mind's eye? And does that make them better players? We all know chess is a game of intense mental calculation and strategy, and many top players talk about visualizing future moves. But is that just talk, or is there something scientifically going on there? So, how did they figure this out? The researchers gathered 44 chess players from beginners to quite skilled players. They had them fill out surveys about how vivid their mental images are. Not just for chess, but in general then. They did something really clever. They asked participants to imagine a chessboard. After a bit of time, a probe would appear, and the player had to say whether that spot on their imagined board was black or white. It's like a mental obstacle course to test how well they could hold and interact with a visualized image. They also did a more objective test of actually seeing a chessboard and then being asked to identify a square's color. And here's where it gets interesting. They found that the players who reported having more vivid mental images, both in general and specifically for chess, tended to be better chess players. It wasn't just what they said about their imagery either. Their performance on that objective Imagine, a board test, also predicted their skill. So yes, seeing things more clearly in your mind seems to translate to better chess performance. The study also looked at the strategies these players used. They discovered that stronger players were more likely to lean on visualization tactics, rather than just remembering moves or positions. Even more intriguingly, skilled players were more likely to say they found it easier to look away from the actual chessboard when trying to solve a chess problem. This suggests that the actual visual input of the board might sometimes get in the way of their internal visualization, which sounds a bit counterintuitive, but makes sense if you're trying to create a mental movie of moves ahead. This is where the study really shines. They found that how vivid a player's imagery was during actual chess problem solving predicted their skill in two ways. First, it directly contributed to their success, meaning better visualization led to better skill even if they used the same strategies. Second, more vivid imagery indirectly helped by influencing the types of strategies they chose, nudging them towards those visualization-based approaches. So, it is a two-pronged effect. Better imagery helps skill directly, and it also guides you toward using more effective strategies. Now, for a truly mind-bending part, aphantasia is a condition where people report having little to no visual mental imagery. The researchers found 3 participants who fit this description. But get this, one of these individuals was a high-skilled chess player, landing in the top 10% of players in the study, even though they claimed to have no mental images when looking away or closing their eyes. They could visualize and accurately describe squares on an imagined chessboard when the board was visible. This is a crucial finding because it suggests that while vivid visual imagery might be common and helpful for most chess players, it might not be an absolute requirement for expertise. Perhaps some individuals can develop sophisticated visualization strategies even without the feeling of vivid imagery, especially when they have visual cues present. It is like they can still access and manipulate spatial information even if they don't see it in their mind's eye the way others do. This hints at the idea that perhaps visualization strategies themselves can be honed, even if the underlying imagery capacity is low. So, what's the big takeaway here? The study strongly suggests that how vividly you can imagine things definitely plays a role in how good you are at chess. It helps you choose better strategies and directly boosts your performance. But it also shows that if you're someone who doesn't have super vivid mental imagery, don't despair. There is a path to expertise through strategic approaches, and the very act of playing and thinking about chess might allow for a form of visualization even without the typical subjective experience. This is super important because it means cognitive skills can sometimes be trained or compensated for, even if you don't naturally possess them. The primary objective of the current study is to examine whether individual differences in self-reported mental imagery vividness relate to chess ability, independent of potential differences in other visual processes, working memory, scroll, and for good measure, they also checked if this imagery effect was just a fluke related to general cognitive skills like working memory. They ran tests for working memory and found it didn't explain the relationship between imagery and chess skill. This means that the connection they found is specifically tied to how well you can visualize, rather than just being a general boost in all visual processing. It's a specific link between your mind's eye and your chess game. Another interesting point is that they controlled for how long people had been playing chess. They found that the link between imagery and chess skill held up even when they accounted for years of experience. In fact, sometimes the correlations got a little stronger. This suggests that the ability to visualize isn't just a byproduct of playing a lot. It is something that actively contributes to skill development from the get-go, or at least independently of sheer hours logged. As a viewer of Rubin's Mind Lab, you know we always like to be critical and explore limitations. While this study makes a strong case, it is worth noting that the sample size of 44 is relatively small and they didn't include many top-tier professional players. So, while these findings are very insightful, we can't be 100% sure they apply to every single grandmaster out there. Also, the case of the high-skilled Fantastic is fascinating, but is just one person. So while it is incredibly suggestive, it is still an exploratory observation. More research could explore how people with low imagery can train visualization strategies, and if this translates to elite play. So, what does this mean for you, whether you play chess or not? If you're a chess player, this research encourages you to pay attention to your mental visualization skills. If you're someone who sees vivid images in your mind, you might have a natural advantage. If you're someone who struggles with imagery, like the Fantastic player, it highlights that strategies and practice can still lead to high levels of skill. For everyone else, it's a reminder of the incredible power and plasticity of our minds. Our ability to create mental worlds, even without direct sensory input, can profoundly impact our performance in complex tasks. It's a testament to how our internal experiences shape our external achievements. What do you think about these findings? Do you play chess, and how important is visualization for you? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this dive into the science of chess and the mind, please give this video a big thumbs up, subscribe to Rubin's Mind Lab for more fascinating research breakdowns, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next exploration into the human mind. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.